Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly."
I find that if you fill your day and your mind with productive things, the negative things have no space.
What are the things that happened throughout in your life, whether personally or professionally? Is there an adversity, something that happened throughout that you think because that taught you so much and made you a much better person and a much better coach? That you bring to this day.
Well, I think the number one thing early in my career was the loyalty that Fred Tensu gave me, because I was able to go through a lot of adversity that a lot of coaches were not able to go through because of our personal relationship. You know what I mean? He and I had a personal relationship. We were friends off the court. We were friends before I became a coach and before I started working for him. So it was kind of a different dynamic that you normally have with a boss and employee. So normally the stuff that you have struggles, oftentimes, you can see it with the national team. You struggle, they chop your head off, and you're on. They're on to the next person, and you're not able to really learn from that. Not able to continue forward, and you get kind of cut off, and now you have to go to another team and start all over again. My ability to have that stick-with-itness with Fred really gave me a lot of opportunity to fail and learn from failure. And that's what we learn most, I think, is from failure. And I had that. Everybody looks at the championships that I've won, but it's been done over 35 years. So there's been a lot of losing in between, and more losing than winning, actually. And so I've been able to, withstand the fact that I've lost and still continue to push through and go forward and recover and learn something from that and be able to recover.
A lot of people that we've talked to, especially when you talk about, grit, being resilient, a lot of times we say yung lumaki kasi sa hirap, di ba? But I hope you don't mind, but it doesn't seem to apply to you, right? So how did you develop that? It's not inborn, di ba? It's not. But how do you think you developed that?
I don't think there's one thing I can pinpoint, no. But I think it's a combination of my experiences. I would say after university, in my first few career formative years, right? I worked with a group of people who were older than me by about 10 years, right? So I was the youngest in that group. They were more mature than me. They had a lot more money than me. And so when I saw how much I could, be like them in a shorter period of time, I just got really inspired to work hard, right? Because I was exposed to, I would say, a more mature group of people who are my friends, right? Who became my mentors, who became my my idols, right? Kumbaga.
So the value of mentorship.
Yeah, and I got so exposed to, what they had that I didn't have, what that I could have if I really worked hard, right? So I told myself, look, if I want to be like them in half the time that they got there, I have to work my ass off, right? And I think that's one. The other thing is, for one reason or another, I was very fortunate to have traveled a lot, right? My parents took me to many different weird places. I was very young. They took us to Egypt. So my parents were travelers as well, right? And I think my love for traveling is not just the act of traveling and going on a holiday, but it's more of being exposed to what's out there, like the bigger world, right? And I think for me, it's like if I live in the Philippines and we don't have fast internet, we don't have things that work all the time. How can I take my experiences in other countries where everything works all the time and bring it here,
and make it
right?
work here,
and make it work here, no? So that's been for me like a motivation, right? Because I see in other more developed countries what it could be, and I tell myself, bakit hindi yun pwede dito? Right? Why can't we do that here? And so I just got so motivated to make the best out of myself, to make the best out of my businesses. And I think that, so having the mentors combined with my experiences, cultural, whatever it is, right?
On the first day of the lockdown, March 20 or 21, naglibot ako dito. I checked my source. Sabi ko, may empleyado ba akong pumasok? No? Because, as you would recall, they suddenly announced that we'll be locked down and there's no public transport. And most of the people in my stores, public transport, no?
Yeah.
And as I was walking to check out the nearby stores,
Here in this area.
outside the office, I saw this guy, Coach. He was jogging. He was wearing the red Alpha Mart shirt. Empleyado ko. So I stopped him. No, I introduced myself. His name was Michael. Sabi ko, Michael, ba't ka tumatakbo? Sabi niya, sir, I'll be late. Sabi ko, for my shift.
Grabe.
So of course I thanked him, no, because you made an effort. No matter if you're late, you made an effort today.
And
Without-
dineclare na yung lockdown.
The night before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Coach, naglakad siya. Alam mo saan siya nakatira, Coach? Las Piñas. He had been walking close to 3 hours.
And this is, we're in the Pasay area for those who don't know,
That's
right?
right.
We're in the
That's
Pasay Mall of Asia area.
This guy walked for 3 hours. So I asked him, why didn't you just file for leave? Because I would have accepted that, right? Because you need more than 24 hours to prepare how to get to work. So sabi, I can never forget that answer straight from his heart. And he said, Boss, kailangan ako ng team. He didn't want to let his team down. Grabing sagot. I think of mercy, because of the pandemic, I asked our HR to get a master list of where our people live and where they work. And then, let's shuffle them so that they get assigned to the store closest to where they live. And there was this lady who lived very far from where she was working. Coach, she refused to be transferred out. Kasi po sabi niya, hindi, napalapit na ako sa customers ko. I refuse to be transferred. Sabi ko, paano ka papasok? Even though she was I think she's in her 30s or whatever, Coach, she taught herself how to ride a bicycle. So, one way, 45 minutes po yun, Coach. Wow. So, you can imagine one day.
And hindi biro yun kung hindi ka marunong magbisikleta. If
That's
you're
right.
just, bagong tuto ka lang magbike. That's
Correct.
Joke,
So, God bless you, mercy. And then the last one was Rodel. So, nung medyo okay na umikot, I was visiting the stores. So, I saw this guy. You know when they're off duty kasi magsusuot yan ng jacket eh.
Okay.
So, off duty na this guy si Rodel. Ang dami niyang bit-bit na grocery. Sabi ko, para yan sa bahay, Rodel, hindi. Para po sa customer. Sabi ko, para sa customer? Wala naman tayong free delivery ah. Sabi hindi, off duty. But he had these customers, mag-asawa, parehong seniors.
Hindi na makalabas.
Hindi makalabas and no one was looking after them. So this guy, every now and then, tatawagan siya ng matanda. And mag-aabono siya. And pag off-duty na siya, he would go there on his way home. Even if it's out of the way, para lang may makain yung
So it was not violating company policy kasi off-duty siya eh.
It's off-duty. It's your personal time and in fact, even his personal money kasi he would abono, no?
Yeah.
So sabi ko, what do these three things have in common? I think people are capable of extraordinary things if they believe in what they're doing, if they have a purpose. So that's my next point.
The power of purpose.
The power of purpose. Iba talaga yung sinasabi ni Simon Sinek, which is, start with why.
What's your why?
Totoo yan. So, I think that's something that we as leaders can do more of. To explain to people how important their jobs are and how that enables not just their own personal success, but the success and well-being of the whole organization.
This is a relationship business. So doon din pumapasok yung puso na are you just after their numbers, after their performance, or do you really care for them as people as well? Doon pumapasok yung
Yes.
what kind of a leader are you when your team is winning? What kind of a leader are you when your team is losing?
Yeah.
And more often than not, doon mo mararamdaman na mas kailangan ka nila when the team is losing. So there are times na
Can we pause and double click on that? Yes, to the leaders, mga boss. When the team is losing, dun kayo mas kailangan ng inyong mga tao.
Yes.
Very, very well said, and I think that's a golden nugget. That's a golden insight right there. Yes. So so yung sinabi mo na you need to show them yung puso that you care for them. Again, sorry for my being insistent on that. So how do you do that? How do you show?
alam mo, whenever the team is losing,
Yeah.
mababa yung performance, dun mas down yung tao, mas emotional eh. So how do you support them? Sometimes, just telling them to take a break. Don't open your laptop, don't open your email, spend time with your family, or spend time resting at home. It matters a lot to them. No? Letting them know also that sometimes they would think, delikado ba ako ngayon sa trabaho ko? Okay? So you would assure them na, well, this is a pace. Not everyone is winning. Not you cannot win all the time. Doon din papasok when the performance is low. Diyan na papasok yung mga tinatawag nating mga miron. Yung mga outside forces. And it doesn't only happen in sports. It happens
So ano rin yan?
everywhere.
Bulong brigade ba yan?
Yung mga yung mga walang kinalaman biglang later on you would be expert pala sila. Pero when you're winning,
Yung mga genius.
yung mga genius,
Yes, okay.
yung mga
okay.
so-called experts. So you just have to make sure that you protect your team from them and assure them that when we were winning, we were together. When we were preparing to win, we were the ones together. We were the ones working hard. We were the ones thinking of strategies, thinking of program on how are we going to achieve our goal, how to win. Ngayon na medyo nagkakaroon tayo ng konting challenge, it's the more that we should stay together. And for me, they will stay together. The leadership there matters a lot. Doon again papasok, where are you when the team is losing? Doon ka nila mas kailangan eh. Doon mo sila wag bibitawan.
Back in 2018, before 18-19, late 18, I was diagnosed with stage 1 papillary cancer. It's a cancer of the thyroid. And of course, being young and having a family, it really messed your mental state. And it's just what I told lang my wife. Of course, ako, I didn't want to show naman my family. Actually, I didn't tell my mom and my dad when I was diagnosed.
Talaga.
Kasi matanda na sila. I didn't want them to worry. And I was lucky naman that MVP company was taking care of me. Pero the challenge was really nga, yun nga, what will happen if, diba, if hindi maging successful yung operation and having 3 kids and a wife na yung kids ko nasa elementary pa lang. So, yung mga ganun bagay, maisip mo talaga. Maisip mo. So, it really tests yung character mo tsaka yung what you're made of. But again, ang binalikan ko lang, coach, is yung being an athlete ko. Being a student athlete actually in Ateneo, where you are challenged every day. Academically and physically sa sports, being used to handling adversities in basketball.
Yep.
Yun lang yung side na binalikan ko. Yung every time na naghirap ako na gumising ng maaga para pumasok at natatapos ng gabi sa practices. So sabi ko sa sarili ko and sa wife ko na if ever kung sa akin man binigay yung ganitong situation, yung
That having done.
having the stage 1 cancer nga is sa akin is kasi kaya ko. Alam ko na kaya ko.
How does it feel just getting ripped out of your comfort zone and being in uncomfortable and alien surroundings? How was that experience like for you?
I guess what made it easier was my brother was with me,
Okay.
and it wasn't his first time here, but it was mine. So he was my younger brother, but he was actually guiding me like, hey, this is how we get to the haircut. take this tricycle. We're going to the haircut.
Okay.
And then
Tricycle, huh?
Tricycle. And we take turns. Someone's in the cart, someone's on the back. But it was crazy. Like I really didn't expect the Philippines to be like this. But when I got here, that's when I was like, I could do something here.
Yeah.
But it was crazy, just coming back.
What got you through those times? I mean, it was very uncomfortable. It's crazy, and then pandemic hits, and then your brother leaves, and then you're by yourself. You know, you were saying that you wanted to be here just in case Gilas calls, but other than that, what's one other thing? Yeah.
Well, one was I wanted to make sure I was ready for Gilas. I just wanted to be ready for anything because I didn't play for 3 years in college, and now it's like, man, I wasted these 3 years. I can't waste any more time.
Yeah, like you said, because there's nothing for you at home. Yeah, okay.
Can't waste any more time. And then my girlfriend, Kiana, and her family, they were kind of the ones that kind of got me through because my parents are back home. So, like, her parents would always check on me, ask if I needed anything. She would always check on me. And sometimes I would go to their house, even though you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
We weren't supposed to drive that far, but yeah, I said, I'm going to the grocery store, but it's over there. So, yeah, they got me through it. And just having that belief that, like, if Gilas calls, I need to be ready.
Our first game in the finals, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tambak kayo sa UP.
Prior to that, Coach, we were 9-0. We played our last game against UE in the first round, and after that, we were undefeated.
Yeah.
So that was a 9-game winning streak coming to the finals and losing by 30 points in game 1 of the finals. Was really it was really hard, Coach. It's because prior to that, I've never won a championship, Coach, in college. Twice I was swept. When I was with San Sebastian, I got swept by San Beda. Okay. When I was at LPU, I got swept twice.
Talaga?
By San Beda, Coach. And that game, etong masaya dun, Coach. So, post-game interview again, you lost by 30, and sabi ko, okay lang, I still have game 2 or game 3 if ever it's gonna happen. But one of our media friends asked me, Coach, is it LPU again in the making? So, I would say, Coach, during that night, that was the lowest of my lows. And I was even asking, like, bakit ba ako nandito? What's my purpose? What's my cause? What's my belief? Bakit, if you want me to succeed, bakit mo ako nilalagay sa ganito? I really asked God what's wrong. And I'll never forget this. 2 in the morning, I got a message from one of my players, and he said, Coach, sorry, bawi tayo. I love you, sabi niya. And sabi ko, that was the answer. Sabi ko, pag meron kang ganong player na nagsabi sa'yo, mahal kita, sabi ko, laban na ako dito. I mean, I'll take it to heart. And game 2 happened, and just like what happened, the rest was history. And after the championship, this player told me, champion tayo, Coach. And that was Kevin Kembao. And then,
I was just going to say, just banyak KQ.
And I asked him,
you know why I know? Because he does the same to me.
Yeah.
When we were with Gil.
Yeah, so sabi ko, I asked him about it. Sabi ko, after all the things that happened, so we got the chance to talk again. Sabi ko, bakit mo sinabi yun? Sabi niya, Coach, sa totoo lang po, nung dumating ka, gusto ko lang mag-champion dahil sa akin, para sa akin. But after nangyari sa atin, sabi niya, hindi lang para sa akin, gusto ko rin mag-champion ka kasi alam ko hindi ka pa nagcha-champion. Because they know my career. I think, Coach, when you talk about love, you be in a space where you could be open, you could be vulnerable, and not being afraid to be judged by your peers. And that's the environment that we've set. And that's why I really believe in love, because you could be yourself. And I always tell this to my team, that bring your ego to the room, because I always want to be we want to coach the whole of you rather than
and not just the player.
less of you. Yeah. So we bring our own egos, and from those our egos, let's see how we could make a beautiful tune together. And it's always about being true to ourselves, being real, being ourselves, and not wearing a mask coming into practice or coming into games.
Ano yung natutunan mo?
Well, number one, again, as I've said earlier, no, it's really the faith. It's katulad nga ng isang brother na nagsabi sa akin, the word faith, there's a capital and there's a small letter faith. No, the capital is really, the capital F stands for faith in God, diba? And the small f is just, the faith in yourself, faith in your family, faith in your friends and your loved ones, and lahat yan, yun na yun. Faith in whatever things you're doing, even in corporate, diba? Siyempre, lahat tayo, may mga nagiging problema rin kahit naman sa corporate, diba? Lahat naman nangyayari. Number two for me is, don't take anything for granted. Number two for me is that one. Don't take anything for granted, whether you're in sport, whether in your business or any professional type. Kasi you never know what's gonna happen. You never know kung kailan kukunin sa inyo yan, 'di ba?
So what are you saying? You always give your best.
You always give your best. You always anong tawag dito? You always
appreciate more or savor mo yung mga or
you always appreciate you always appreciate everything kung ano nandyan, 'di ba? Let's be contented kung ano meron tayo diyan, 'di ba? And kung ano ang meron diyan, kumbaga, well, as for me, for example, in sport, kung ano meron diyan, you take advantage, make the most out of it, 'di ba? Just like personally, coach, in my career, just to give you an idea also, this part of my career is, alam niyo naman, I'm already 40.
40 years old.
So, may times kasi minsan, di ba, as a player, na hindi mo matatanggap na, you're not playing anymore. Pero feeling mo, limited minutes, pero feeling mo, feeling mo kaya mo pa, nakakalaro pa. No. In my point of career right now, even though I'm not playing, I always make sure that I will do my best in practice. I'm not gonna take anything for granted in practice porque hindi naman ako ginagamit na bakit pa ako mag-go hard. Yes, diba? The fact that you're here, the fact that you're part of the team, the fact that you have a contract, it's your job, you have to make the most out of it. Kasi may kukuha at may kukuha. May gusto niyan.
Correct.
May ibang tao may gusto niyan na pwede naman ibigay pero nandiyan ka pa. Diba? Yun yung sinasabi ko na don't take anything for
granted. There are 180 players out of 100 million Filipinos or 180 PBA players.
Diba? So, yun yung pangalawang gusto kong sabihin. And siguro ang pangatlo, ang pangatlo is make sure to, nasabi ko kanina, make sure to appreciate everything that you have right now. Appreciate your family, your children, your wife, your friends, 'di ba? So kasi in the end talaga lagi ko sinasabi sa mga kayo parang dami niyo reklamo sa buhay, parang bakit ba parang tayo na magreklamo kung ano lang meron diyan.
Yeah.
Yun ang gawa natin ng paraan. Anong problema, gawa natin ng solution. Everything has a solution. Ang masama, pag wala ng solution, ibig sabihin, wala ka na dito sa mundo. Diba?
Yeah.
Wala naman yun So, appreciate everything. Kung ano nandyan, appreciate tayo.
When you ended up not medaling in the Olympics, I was just watching you the whole time and you were, you know how it is, you're like a fraternity of brothers there, right? If somebody does well, everyone congratulates. The Greek guy who was third place he was high five. He was very happy, obviously. Yeah. You were seated just by yourself, right by the pit where everyone else, and you were stoic. You were expressionless. Take us through that. What was your emotion? What were you thinking about?
It was painful because if you get injured, you don't get to participate. You're last. Well, it is the injury.
Yeah.
You get to the final, you don't perform well. It is the injury. you lose a medal from an attempt, not even the height.
Yeah, it's not the height.
It shows that it could have been. That would haunt me for the rest of my life, and I need to live with that. And I think I've put that chapter to bed. But if I'm gonna go back, I remember looking at that and I'm just, that's it. You know, all the things that you've done, you've sacrificed so much. You've lived a nomadic life outside of your country. You know, I don't see my parents for quite a long time, and here we are. This is the culmination of it. It is an end of a chapter, and you don't go home with the medal. And I was just trying to process that thought in my head and say, how do I find peace with that? And how do I accept that for a fact? How can I see that as a reality? And I remember just looking at the boards, and it's just like, I wish this was a bad dream, and like I wake up and it's not yet the final. I was really down. I'm disappointed with myself. I'm disappointed with the position that I ended up with. I needed to process that for a moment, and nobody's words were coming in. Like, it was not sinking in. Like, it's okay. Like my coach was saying, it's not the end of life. It felt like it. It felt like it really put a hole in my identity, in my heart. That it gave me that because I wanted it that much, and it meant so much for me. And maybe that's the sad part of pole thing. You need to stay there.
You have to stay there. Yeah.
In basketball, when you're done, you finish the game, you can leave, and kind of process that. Personally, not in the public, I guess, but it was a time that I needed to really let it sink in a bit more, and really try to reflect on the things that I went through to be on that day in that spot and come up short because of a single missed attempt that didn't even matter in the long run. So,
okay, so you said in that moment you were asking yourself, how will I find peace in all of this? Have you found it? Did you find?
I think it's some shape or form. At least I can continue my life. I tried to process it without emotions, and I wouldn't say I already found the answer. I already found peace, but I found good enough reason to continue. And what I mean by that is, with all of the things that happened, like I said, I don't really have any regret anymore because I've done everything that I can.
So you may not have found peace, but you think you have made peace with it, with what happened.
Yes, that's a perfect description.
Yeah. If you have made peace with it, then at least now you have a springboard to
Yes, sir.
push forward and carry on.
Yeah. Maybe somewhere along the future we'll find it.
Yes.
All my life, coach, I've been trying to prove myself na parang ako yung magaling, ako yung matapang, ako yung marunong. But in this how do you call this? In this arena, when I felt that and I thought that other people were better than me, ang sabi ko sa sarili ko, maybe there's something that I can learn from these guys that would fill in yung mga shortcomings ko, yung mga gaps sa buhay ko. And I use that to my advantage kasi if I were able to tap into your psyche, into your knowledge base, and get something out of that I don't have, then that's going to add more value to me, right? That's the first thing. Second, the competition, while it seems like you are competing 1 out of 16, we have to always remember that we're leading teams. I was project manager for 3 projects. Did successfully. And in order for me to do that, my team had to trust me. For them to trust me, I had to trust them first. May kasabihan yung black belt ko sa jiu-jitsu. Sabi niya na, in order for you to to be loyal to me, I have to be loyal to you first. Sabi ko, professor, we call each other professors eh. Black belts in jiu-jitsu are called professors. It's like a university, like a school. Sabi ko, professor, what do you mean? I don't get what you're saying. He's from the US, but I think he's Colombian or he's Latin American. Sabi niya, Louis, I have to be loyal to your dreams, to your hopes, to what you want to achieve in life. I have to understand you, have to value you, so that in turn you will value me. So it's giving yourself first, right? Before the person gives themselves to you. So I decided to take that approach. So parang, I will value these people first. I will respect them. Though, parang let them lead also, di ba? Kasi people want to be, want to be seen. They want to be recognized eh. If you give that recognition to them, they will have ownership. At least that's my experience.